In this video, I'm going to be going through how to change the subject of a formula, but particularly this video is going to look at changing the subject of more complex formulae, not the type that you might get near the start of an exam, but typically ones that would appear a bit later. So I'm going to go through two examples of this, illustrating the kinds of concepts that are required. So here we have a question where we want to make R the subject of the formula. Where this is different to most other types of problems you would have seen is that there are two terms that contain R, or two instances of R appearing in the formula. And since we want to make R the subject, this is going to make it maybe a bit trickier, because normally we're used to seeing one and then we rearrange everything to get that one R or that one unknown as our subject. So what we want to do in this case is to get all terms with R on one side. Now, at the minute they are on one side, but we want only the R terms on that side, so that plus 2a that's at the end, we will need to rearrange the formula to remove that by subtracting 2a from both sides. So now that I've got the R terms on one side and only terms with R on that side, I'm now going to factorize it. And what that will do on the right hand side is it will leave me just a single R. So that means I can now make R my subject without there being any others. To do that, because R is multiplying this bracket, we will need to divide both sides by pi plus 2. This will then give us our formula written this way around, but it would be much neater just to swap things around so that we have R equals, and then we have p minus 2a over pi plus 2. And this is our rearranged formula so that we've made R the subject. So factorizing will play a key part in these types of problems. Now there is one more type which is a bit more common than this one that does appear at the latter stages of an exam. So this type of problem here is where we've got a fraction and the subject that we want to make, t, appears in both the numerator and denominator. So to rearrange this formula, we are going to have to first of all multiply by that denominator p minus t. This will then get rid of the fraction. Now when we do that, we will want to make sure that all of the left-hand side is multiplied by p minus t. So it's a good idea to put it in brackets, and then the formula will look like this. Now once we've got it to this point, we'd then want to expand the brackets and rearrange so that we end up with all the terms that contain a t on one side. In this case, it was easier to add the wide t to both sides to cancel out the negative y, or the subtract yt on the left. Once you're at this point, you just want to factorize on the right hand side the t. In some questions you might find that there are other factors, but there isn't necessarily a great need to do that. Although you could, it's usually easier if you just factor out the subject that you want. So in this case, we'll have t brackets 2p plus y. Then the final step, like before, was to be to divide both sides by that bracket. So 2p plus y, dividing both sides would leave us with t equals yp over 2p plus y. Now, not all rearranging formulae or making various unknowns the subject questions will look like this exactly. There are slight variations which will appear, and particularly with the new GCSE 1 to 9, you'll want to be careful to ensure that you are applying inverses correctly and that you are following consistent logical steps. But hopefully this video will help you in some way to be able to rearrange the formula and make any unknown the subject when it appears more than once. Okay, so thank you very much and hope it helps.